How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, is one of them type of videos. I know Trump is all up in his feelings. I know he watching me over here. So Trump, I have to do what I have to do. But I'm just going to let you know ahead of time, Trump, I'm going to try my best to defend you with your very, very high IQ. So my royal family, Friday went by so quick, and we here on Tuesday, and folks is still talking about that Bleach that Trump is really trying to push real hard. He really trying to contribute to the medical community. Now, it started out with the malaria medication, and he bought millions of vials of that right along with the governor of Florida. Turn out that'll make it worse. So we have to understand that when Trump was saying what he was saying, he was at his finest moment. He was demonstrating how brilliant he think he is. And, since, we did what we had to do to be responsible, and, and saying, Trump, you can't do that. You can't do that. Now, this journey I'm going to take the royal family on, hopefully it will clear up some things. But Trump, I'm trying my best to defend your deranged ass. So, let's get over here. Now, we know Trump got a lot of problems. When you the president, there's a great deal of responsibilities. So, again, Trump, he's leading us, even though he got advisors and medical experts and all of this type of stuff. He has to put that 1% in, but that 1% feel like 99%. He hovering over folks like they don't have a clue. So we got that all established that Trump, he got problems. It's hard. It's hard being that. Now, y'all have to understand, when Trump was saying what Trump was saying, what he was saying subliminally is that I didn't try this shit, and that's why y'all don't see me wearing no mask or anything. I vape Lysol. It is what it is, my royal family. Now, Lysol stepped in and say, hey, you need not to be fucking up our paper game and stuff. This stuff is working, even though we sent it on the low. And Trump, just be quiet because you're getting your shit free. But see, now since the shit, now he did it, exposed thyself, stupidity. I don't know what's in that little pea brain he got. Now he refusing to take responsibility. So let's see what's going on.
Tonight, President Trump asked about the spike in calls to poison control centers across the country after he suggested using disinfectants as an ingestible cure.
I know you said they were sarcastic.
I can't imagine why. Yeah.
Take any responsibility?
No, I don't. No, I can't imagine. I can't imagine that.
Maryland, Tennessee, Illinois, Michigan, New York, all reporting an increase in calls after the president said this on Thursday.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning?
Out front now, Gloria Borger, CNN chief political analyst, and Dr. Jonathan Reiner, who is now officially joining as our new CNN medical analyst. Of course, he advised the White House medical team for 8 years under President George W. Bush and runs the cardiac cath lab at GW. So, Gloria, what do you make of the president saying that he can't imagine it? He can't imagine. I'm sure on one level he can't, but he is the one who suggested that people somehow inject themselves with these cleaners. So he suggested it, and people did it, and he's shocked.
Right. Look, he's disowning any responsibility for it, which shouldn't be shocking to any of us. But it's remarkable because, of course, he knows the answer to the question. The answer to the question is, yeah, I know what happened. Yeah, it's because I spoke last Thursday. And what I said was suggest to people that perhaps ingesting disinfectant might help cure coronavirus in some way, shape, or form. So he does know the answer to it. But in keeping with the way he behaves, he is saying to us, no, I have no responsibility for that. I don't know anything about that. And that's how he answers a lot of questions he doesn't want to answer, which is when he was asked about Dr. Bright saying that he was fired because he wouldn't pursue some science the administration wanted him to pursue. I don't know him. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he's talking about. This is the president's MO.
Right, and Dr. Bright, of course, Rick Bright was in charge of a vaccine effort for the White House, so pretty hard to imagine the president wouldn't have heard of him or known who he was. Dr. Reiner, should the president take responsibility for this issue of people trying to do what he suggested that might work, which is somehow put disinfectants on the inside of their body?
Yeah, absolutely, except with this president, the buck seems to stop anywhere else. You know, the day that he first pitched hydroxychloroquine about a month ago, later that day, the number of prescriptions for hydroxychloroquine in the United States filed to pharmacies rose 40-fold. So his words have consequences. He needs to pick his words very carefully, and he doesn't. And last week, when he pitched completely outrageous proposals, dangerous, toxic proposals, they had consequences. People listened to his words.
So, Gloria, you know, when this happens, you know, when you talk about taking responsibility and what the president knew when he knew it, the Washington Post report tonight is reporting that Trump was warned more than a dozen classified briefings about the virus in January and February. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence, which prepares the daily briefing for the president, told the Washington Post, quote, "The detail of this is not true, but they say that sources tell them the warnings appeared in the president's daily brief, which is produced daily by U.S. intelligence agencies." The president, though, Gloria, while he was, again, according to the Post, getting more than a dozen classified briefings about the rising threat of this virus, this is what he was saying publicly over that exact same time frame.
Looks like by April, you know, in theory, when it gets a little warmer, it miraculously goes away.
You may ask about the coronavirus, which is very well under control in our country.
We have it so well under control. I mean, we really have done a very good job.
Why do you think, Gloria, that he was saying that if he was reading or somehow getting these warnings from the intelligence agencies?
Well, it's really hard to know. Aaron, what I can say to you is that CNN's own reporting had him getting at least one presidential daily brief that outlined the dangers of the coronavirus. The question we don't have an answer to is if the intelligence agencies were doing this once, twice, more than that, multiple times, was the president reading the presidential daily brief? Were people briefing him in person about the dangers of the virus spreading in China? Was this something he knew and chose not to pay attention to, perhaps, because we were involved in negotiating an important trade deal with China? We don't know the answers to these questions, but I'm sure as we peel the layers of the onion, we'll be able to understand what exactly happened during that month of February, when there was an opportunity to try and slow the spread and pay attention to these flashing red lights, why that wasn't done.
Dr. Reiner, we're also learning that the source is telling us that the White House Coronavirus Task Force may soon begin to basically scale back how often it meets, and to do so slowly, but to scale it back. And we know they've met basically every day since it first started. They haven't met in the past 2 days. Does this concern you at all?
Well, there's the task force, which we want to meet every day, and then there's the briefing, which I'm not sure we need every day. We certainly don't need the political spin portion of the briefing, the part that tells us how many tests we've done and how many ventilators we've made. We don't really need that. What the American public really needs to hear is they need to hear a relatively frequent briefing from people like Tony Fauci and Dr. Birx, to give us an update on where we're making progress, where we need more work, what the public can do to continue to, to stem the spread of the disease. We need to hear from the physician leadership, and I think a little bit less from the political leadership.
Well, my royal family. Well. I had to play that video because it revealed many things. Now, I can imagine these folks behind the scenes is probably pass out laughing at Trump's utter stupidity, literally. And now he got his arms crossed. He all up in his feelings. He's in a state of denial. Trump, at this point, I have severed ties with you. I was trying to find a window to defend whatever that was you was trying to peddle. Whatever that was, Trump. Because, I ran up on some other things and, it is what it is, Trump. So I have to continue on. I got to do what I got to do. Now, I know I captivated you for a bit and, I'm a bullshitter just like you. So, you fell for the okey doke. Literally. Now you're captivated. You and your people. Y'all over here listening to this thinking that I was going to wiggle him up out of it. Oh no, Trump. You going to waddle in some bleach. As we continue on, my royal family, let's watch this next video.
Trump on Thursday did something so incredibly bizarre, some folks are having trouble wrapping their heads around it. After hearing from a Department of Homeland Security official about ways the biology of the novel coronavirus was being studied and the virus's susceptibility to sunlight and ultraviolet rays in the air and to disinfectants on non-porous solid surfaces such as doorknobs, the president mused aloud about injecting ultraviolet rays and disinfectant into the human body.
And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. Then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs.
Injection of disinfectant into the human body. It's the kind of musing that is so nonsensical, children laugh about it. It's also the word of the President of the United States of America, a man so beloved and trusted in some circles. Government emergency tip lines had to issue warnings for constituents to not use disinfectants to treat the virus. Lysol had to issue a public warning to consumers that under no circumstances is internal admission of disinfectants appropriate. After the president's statement, his new press secretary, who is apparently so eager to defend her boss, she seems to not understand that we can all hear the words she says and read the words she issues. She claimed that the president had been taken out of context. He, of course, had not. His musings were there for all to see and hear. And then the president undermined his own press secretary by claiming he had been sarcastic and he was challenging reporters, which was just a bald-faced lie. In fact, while attempting to spin this, the president even said to a reporter that surely the...
Hold up, my royal family. So you're saying that Trump's saying he was being sarcastic. So let's just hold all of that and let's check this out. What is the difference between sarcasm and sarcastic? It's not something you are, but something you have. Similarly, sarcasm is something you have, while sarcastic is what you are at times. So that's what he is. So, okay, I'll give you that, Trump. That's what you is. at all times, not what is what you are at times, at all times, Trump. Again, it's not something you are, but something you have. Yeah, you have pure, utter stupidity running through your DNA. Similarly, sarcasm is something you have, while sarcasm is what you are at all times. Now, I added my part, my royal family. So we got all that clear as we continue on.
The reporter understood he was being sarcastic because the president had said it right to him. And the reporter told the president he had not been there at the time.
So,
Well, of course, all they had to do is see it was just, you know, the way it was asked. I was looking at you, you know.
We're running out of words to describe this era. Republicans in Congress and in the Trump administration know that not only is the president failing to rise to this moment to, for example, get the nation on a path to widespread testing, the president's now making open ponderings about treatments that experts worry could actually harm people. His ascientific, anti-scientific musings have been dangerous. We saw this with his weeks of downplaying the virus. 2 months ago today, the president said he'd done a good job since the U.S. had only 15 cases, which would soon go down to almost zero. Then the president was pushing the use of hydroxychloroquine. What have you got to lose, he said. Well, the FDA on Friday issued a caution against the use of that drug outside a hospital or a clinical trial due to the risk of heart rhythm problems. Republican leaders need to acknowledge the reality of the situation. They need to intervene. They need to convince President Trump to defer to the experts and focus on the needs of not his ego, but the sick and the dying and the people trying to care for them. There is going to be a history of this era written, and those who are pretending this irresponsibility is not happening, they will be remembered as villains.
All right. So
Looking
let's
for
shut
the
this
perfect
down.
escape? You'll find it in Camino.
And before we get into some other things, back here, my royal family. See, Trump be speaking on code, and he's trying to peddle something, and he's trying to let y'all know, if y'all vape, Lysol, bleach, pine sol, whatever, if you vape, that's gonna clear the lungs. That's gonna, that's gonna take care of all of that. All of that. But I'm not defending him anymore. I'm not bullshitting with him anymore. You're dumb, Trump. You're fucked up. You need to come to the New Black Media, and we keep it core like this over here on the True Royal Family and many other channels. Some of them speak harder than I do, So I know your little scouts is feeling some kind of way, because I know, the day that you said that dumb shit, and then you was in the Oval Office and you had your arms all crossed up, you became a laughing stock. Literally, a laughing stock to the Democratic Party. I mean, literally, we don't particularly care for Hillary or Obama, but I would like to be right there between them, hearing what they have to say when you said that dumb shit to your cult members. And I wasn't surprised that people was making numerous calls, seeing is this cool, Billy Bob and Rebecca and them, the whole incest family, you inspired them to get out and vote and have them KKK Trump rally. So they believe in you. They believe in you. Because you're responsible for a few deaths, Trump, trying to put your expertise in it, trying to come off like you real bright and intelligent. And you felt some kind of way because you in this room with all these people that got true degrees, I think. All right? I think. So the Democratic Party dragged your ass Hillary said, please don't poison yourself because Donald Trump thinks it could be a good idea. What's this? Governor Gretchen Whitmer, just going to leave this here. Do not consume or inject disinfectant. That's a bad idea. All right, this commissioner girlfriend, I'm gonna leave that first name alone. Your last name is Miss Barbot. To be clear, disinfectant are not intended for ingestion, either by mouth, by ear, by breathing them in any way, shape, or form. And doing so could put people at great risk or death. Y'all might as well, so she's being responsible. She's, doing what she have to do. I thank the commissioner. Thank you. Melanie, she's out of New York. Okay. So, she said, pay attention. Don't do that. Simply don't do that. Ooh, Trump, you dumb. So let's listen to this quick little video we have here. Let's see. Here we go.
We had hundreds of calls in our hotline here in Maryland about people asking about injecting or ingesting these disinfectants.
The governor of Maryland on Sunday said that his state's coronavirus hotline received a surge of calls from residents asking whether or not they could use cleaning products to treat symptoms of COVID-19.
But people actually were thinking about this. Was this something you could do to protect yourself?
Doctors have been stridently warning against using products such as Lysol to treat the illness since U.S. President Donald Trump last week mused aloud as to whether or not disinfectant could be injected into patients to eradicate the novel coronavirus.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning?
And certainly they should never be ingested or injected.
Officials such as New Jersey Health Commissioner Judy Persichilli quickly warned the public that ingesting or injecting disinfectant is a terrible and potentially fatal idea.
If that's been suggested to people, they need to hear the truth from a doctor, not from someone who doesn't really seem to care about science at all.
Elected Democrats from New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi accused the president of ignoring basic science in the midst of a health crisis.
Let's say we can kill the virus by injecting disinfectants like Lysol into the body. Clearly and sadly, the president is not listening to medical experts, and I don't know which ones he is listening to, if any.
No, I was asking the question sarcastically to reporters like you, just to see what would happen.
The day after he made the suggestion, Trump said his comments were sarcastic. National Public Radio over the weekend reported New York City saw an uptick in calls to the city's poison control center over exposure to Lysol, bleach, and other household cleaners after the president's comments.
These are deadly agents.
Former FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb, a medical doctor, told CBS News on Sunday that these chemicals should never be ingested or injected.
We need to be very clear about this, that nobody should be consuming a disinfectant, and they don't work for the treatment of anything, let alone coronavirus.
All right, so, folks had to, I know that was a long weekend. I know that's a long ass weekend. Well, Trump, you doing what you doing, you being sarcastic, that's part of your personality with that pea brain that you got. What you did was you made yourself individually look like a laughing stock globally. Because there are people in other countries talking about you. Now, Trump, now you're ready to cut back on having, these briefings about coronavirus, and you trying to come off like you so intelligent and hovering over people thinking they going to make a mistake and they worried about what's coming out of your mouth. Now, I found out some stuff, my royal family. Trump had a meeting this weekend, and they really heavily got on their ass, and I must reveal who these, what these people look like and all. Now, they asking him, you know, what's the fuck really going on? You know, you see that cup there, my royal family. He didn't already drunk a cup up and say, now this watch me. Watch the coronavirus just die in my body. I mean, you got folks up here that don't even work for Trump no more. You know, they had to have a private meeting with him and said, are you serious? And Trump said, yeah, I'm damn serious about what I'm saying. You know, y'all don't understand. You know, I didn't, you know, bought about 10 millions of these, and I'm going to pass them out to my friends. All that shit going to dissipate from their body. They ain't going to get it or nothing or anything. I'm smart like that. I'm here. I got the highest IQ of all of y'all. Who the hell you think you talking to? Talking to me? You know, then you see this Chinese guy here. He already look woe out, my royal family. Look at him. Let me just pull it in a little taste. Show you, you know, some folks is looking quite troubled other than Trump. Homeboy, you know, you see what, 1, 2, 3 Chinese people, and they already on the shit list of the world, let alone America. And Trump, you ain't helping at all, you know, with your, you know, I know what you and your little, you know, little spineless, girly looking ass son-in-law trying to do. Y'all done already stole mass, you know, put it in the private sector because you trying to recoup the billions that you have lost. And now you trying to get us to drink that shit that you done invested in, you know. See, if I was standing there before you after you done took a swig of that shit, I would stand there for a long ass time, so it can take full effect of your deranged ass. That's simple. That's it. I wouldn't have no discussions or nothing, you know, because this guy is full of sarcasm. You know, he carries this around him. So you have to realize, I forgot who said it, because I don't like stealing talking points, but somebody has said when Trump was making that statement, he felt like he was being quite brilliant and intelligent. And then, you know, he jam up homegirl and she looking like, oh, me? I know if that would have been a sister sitting there, she would have been like, motherfucker, you know that you can't use no damn bleach. Now, you know that shit sounds stupid. But you see how Becky get down? She's sitting up there worried about her coin. She don't give a damn about nobody else. And she try to come off so sincere and even try to do some damage control for him, saying basically he was just thinking out loud. No, Trump meant that shit. He meant it 1,000%. And he gonna double down on not taking responsibility if one of y'all deranged asses drink that bleach, put that bleach in some baby bottle, give it to your baby, give it to your whole damn family. Then when y'all croak and people look at Trump, he gonna be like, I ain't say that. Even though we clearly heard you say it, Trump, you always doing this. So I can't defend you. You know, I was trying, Trump, but it is what it is. So the royal family got to do what they do. Render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe, what a damn fool.